is Bailey and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be giving you my April reading wrap-up plus my March wrap-up, because in March I only read 2 books, so I didn't do a full wrap-up video for that because, you know, that seemed a little bit unnecessary. So yeah, you know, I've got some stuff to show you. I read 2 things in March and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things in April. So yeah, I was actually really proud of myself in April for my reading, which, like, when you see it, it's not going to impress you, but, like, it made me proud. So yeah, let's get right into it with March's reads. So first I read We're Okay by Nina LaCour, and I gave this 3.5 stars after I first read it, but now I would probably give it a 4-star. And the reason being is that I loved this book the whole time I read this. And then, like, there was one little thing near the end, and it was like a character perpetuating that you have to be in a relationship to make it okay that your former partner is in a relationship. And that just pissed me off so much. But, yeah. The main character of this book is Marin, and she's basically left behind her old life after her grandpa passes away. And he's the only family member she has left, and then when he goes missing, basically, she kind of just drops her whole old life and runs off to university and hasn't spoken to anyone from her old life until her former best friend and girlfriend shows up, and they have to flesh out the past and deal with what's been going on. And so I actually, like, loved this book so much, and it was just like that one little segment near the end really brought it down for me. And, like, if you do not like character-driven stories, which I don't usually like them, but this one is short, so I kind of, like, dealt with it, you're not gonna like this book. It's very character-driven. It's, like, very much in the emotions, so, like, I don't know, watch out for that. But I would recommend it if you are looking for, one, there is, like, a low-key queerness in there. 2, something that's going to deal with mental health. I'm not sure if it's ever said directly, because this was March, so that was a while ago. So I don't know if it's ever said directly, but I'm pretty sure the main character is, like, depressed, and I've heard a lot of people talking about the depression representation in this book. So yeah, that's a thing. And, like, it deals a lot with grief and dealing with loss of family members and people close to you. So yeah, that was all this book. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it, but it wasn't a 5. Like, it was a 5 for the majority and then just kind of went down. Next up, my second read of this month, well, of March, was Summer of Salt by Katrina Leno. This book is one of my new favorite books, if not my favorite. And I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I'd give it like a bajillion stars if I could. And it's just like, I felt this book, and I felt myself, and I love it so much. So this is like a magical realism contemporary, I think, if I were to give it a genre. And so it follows Georgina, and she lives on this island called By the Sea, which is just super tiny. Everybody knows everybody. It's a whole thing. And she is part of this family called the Fernways, and they have this magic that, like, everybody's sort of aware of, but nobody, like, calls it magic. They're all just like, well, the Fernways, they're just kind of weird. Like, we don't deal with that. So basically, she's part of this family, and if you're 18 and you haven't gotten your power yet in this family, you're not going to get a power. And so Georgina is the twin sister of Mary. She has a twin sister. Her name is Mary. And Mary's already gotten her power when she was super little, when she was a baby. And Georgina still has yet to find her power and her magic, and she's just about to turn 18 in about a month. And so it's kind of dealing with Georgina and her sister. And on this island, they, every year, there's a bird named Annabella that comes by, and it attracts all these bird watchers to come and basically, the island profits off of these bird watchers coming to see Annabella, this mystical bird that's been alive for 300 years. So when tragedy strikes on this island, it kind of leaves everybody, like, shattered. Like, it just does a lot of stuff. And we have to see what happened and who's behind it and that sort of a thing. So it's like magical realism, contemporary, kind of a mystery. It's a lot. That description of the book wasn't good, but I do want to say this book is so good, and I would really recommend picking it up. And it's queer. Female-female romance, we're in for it. So yeah, I'll tell you all the representation in this book. I have my trusty dusty book here with all of the representation and the characters' sexuality, so let's get into it. So Georgina, the main character, is a lesbian and she is out. Vera, who is Georgina's best friend, is aroace, and Prue, who is the love interest, is bi-curious, and then confirmed in this book to be bisexual. And in general, By the Sea is, and like the Fernways and everyone in general, is very open and accepting of LGBT people and everybody. So that was really refreshing to read about. And yeah, it wasn't like a big deal when girls were kissing. It was a good time. I enjoyed that. So yeah, this book. I loved, see, the writing style was at times, like there was a lot of mistakes in this book. I noticed them. But like, I didn't care because I was so invested in the story. And I really liked the writing style and how the author wrote it, and I liked the voice that Georgina had. It was really good. There's also a trigger warning in this book for sexual assault. These 3 tabs I have, yeah, there's 3 of them, are all like sexual assault related things. I really liked how sexual assault was dealt in this book as well. It was very clear the message the author was trying to push in this book around that. And yeah, it was a great book, and I really recommend people reading it. It's so good. I like can't even fully form my thoughts because I love it so much. But yeah, I love it. Okay, on to April. I read 3 graphic novels and 3 normal books. I don't know. So yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna go in chronological order. So yeah, the first book I read was a graphic novel, and it was Sunstone Volume 1 by Stijapomsejik. I don't know how to pronounce that. So this is obviously very scandalous. You can already tell. It's about 2 lesbian people who enjoy BDSM. So like, I'm not gonna flip through it for you because it's got graphic content. There are tits in this book. So I mean, like, that's great. I don't find graphic content or like sex in books or anything like that like jarring or like, oh my god, can't read that. So it didn't bother me. And I went into it knowing what the main plot point of the book was. So I'd like, just like check yourself before you read this. I think I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was like steamy and such, but I also really liked the characters because they weren't just sex. They were also people who had quirks, and they were, you know, living their best life. And it did, I don't know, fleshed out the characters instead of just having them be objects to be placed in sexual experiences and like activities. So that was nice. That was good. I think that I don't know much about the BDSM world or the activity of BDSM, but I think it was represented well. I don't really know. It didn't seem like 50 Shades of Grey. Like, it didn't seem all like, I don't know, weird. It seemed more like a normal thing. And it seemed like there was a lot of consent as well. Like, in everything they were doing, it was like a lot of, was good? Yes. It was very nice and refreshing to see that. And I would like recommend it if you're just like, I don't know, want a steamy read. It was good. The art style is very nice. I would show you something. Okay, here's a page there's no nudity on. Like, I like the art style. The coloring's really nice. You could really tell the emotions of the characters on their faces. I really enjoy that in graphic novels, because if I can't tell what the character's thinking, like feeling, because obviously you're not like a normal novel in which you can like kind of read the thoughts of a character, it was nice to be able to like see their emotions and their feelings. So I really like this. Steamy, I know, and sexual, whatever. Refreshing, you know? It's a kind of a change of pace, something different, whatever. So yeah, first thing I read. The second thing I read in April was Wires and Nerve Volume 2 by Marissa Meyer, illustrated by Stephen Gilpin. So, I've been putting off this book for a while, and I think it's just because it's like the last chronological thing in the Lunar Chronicles for me to read. Because I've read the epilogue of Stars Above and everything, and it was just like the last thing for me to read from this story that wasn't in the past, or like, you know, that was kind of irrelevant. And that was like kind of sad. And I remember finishing this book. It was in one of my reading vlogs. I'll link it up if I can remember which one. But it was just such a sad moment, like realizing that this one of these series that brought me super close to my best friend and that got me into reading really is over. Like, that story's over. These character stories are over. And it was really sad. But I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. It was really good. This is basically, I'm not going to describe this book in particular, but Wires of Nerve is the graphic novel duology that comes after the Lunar Chronicles, and it basically follows one of the characters, Aiko, and the aftermath of the series. So I can't really describe the plot anymore to you, but basically, I love this book. I remember, like, all the characters act like themselves. I was really afraid going into the graphic novel duology that they weren't going to act like themselves that they were in the series, but they really did. In regards to art style, there was a few characters that I didn't love how they were portrayed, just because I hadn't imagined them that way, but then there were some characters like Winter, if you read the Lunar Chronicles you'll know who she is, who I thought was drawn beautifully, and I thought she looked amazing and just how I would have imagined her when I was reading, so I really loved that. And yeah, I just really like this graphic novel, and I think if you've read the Lunar Chronicles, well, first, if you haven't read the Lunar Chronicles, read the Lunar Chronicles. 2, if you haven't read the duology but you've read the Lunar Chronicles, read the duology. But yeah, I think it's really good, and like, really sad that this series is over and these characters are done. So that's just depressing. So next up, I read It Looks Like This by Raffi Mittelfeld, and this book I just picked up, like I bought during this month just because I'm like, I was buying a different book and this is right next to it and I'm like, ooh, gay. So I was like, I'll read it. This book, I gave 5 out of 5 stars when I first read it, but in hindsight, I'd probably give it like a 4, 4.5. I gave 5 stars out of emotion, less out of technical goodness. I think this book lacks a few things, and I'll get into that. The writing style, not great, honestly. There's a dog outside. Okay. There's 2 dogs. So basically this writing style, okay, what is it's in first person, and that's fine. Lots of books are, that's fine. But then the dialogue is written without quotations, and it's just sort of like, I don't know. So basically it's like, Sean's over there, Sean says, hi, but it doesn't say, like, it doesn't have like quotes, hi, Sean said. It's just like, Sean said hi. I said this back. It's like, it's very choppy in that sense, and I didn't love that, but I kind of got used to it while I was reading it because I was invested in the characters. But yeah, this book follows, what's his name? I forgot his name. This follows Mike, and he's just moved to a new town, and his family's super religious, but he's like gay, and so that's not okay. I don't remember what state he moves to. That's fine, whatever. And then he meets this guy named Sean, and they run off into the sunset together. Yeah, it's a romance. And I went into this hoping for like a cute gay romance, kind of dealing with church, but also like just more like a cute gay romance. It wasn't that. Oh, oof, it was not that. So I'm gonna give you a list of trigger warnings before we continue here. Trigger warnings for the book, not for what I'm saying. Here's my list of trigger warnings that I developed after reading this book. There was no trigger warnings inside this book. I think there should be, because there was a lot in this book. So let's get into it. Trigger warnings for this book: forced outing of LGBTQ youth, violence against LGBTQ youth, gay conversion therapy, LGBTQ discrimination, substance abuse, and that's just like the short list. I think I had more, but yeah, that was a lot. And there's also like, I don't know, not suicide, but like self-harm. I'm not really sure anymore. I don't really remember. I tabbed a lot of things, well, like I folded the pages here. I don't know if you can see, but I don't know, there was just a lot in this book. It wasn't a happy book by any means. It was very sad. And the main character was really sad. And like, it made me sad to read. But it was really quick to get through. Like, I felt myself just like wanting to keep reading. So you know, like, that's fun. I remember when I read this, I gave it 5 stars originally. I think just because of how much it made me feel, like it made me depressed. I was crying. It made my heart hurt for this main character and everything that was going on. Especially like the gay conversion stuff. That was painful to read. Like, really painful to read. And it's just like not great. So that was kind of like, it was really depressing. I wouldn't recommend this if you're not in the depressing mood. I wasn't in the depressing mood when I read this, and it just depressed me. So like, look out for that. But yeah, I don't know, it's queer. It's also Own Voice's queer rep. So I mean, like, that's always great. So yeah, I don't know. My thoughts on this book are kind of like weird. I'm not really sure, but yeah. Next up, I read Archenemies by Marissa Meyer. I love this book. I love Marissa Meyer. I love this so much. So basically, this is the sequel to Renegades by Marissa Meyer, and it's, oh, so good. So, so good. I can't wait for Supernova. Well, I just saw the cover today, and I'm just like, oh, I love it. So basically, I'm not going to explain this book to you. I'll explain Renegades. But this was in my 5-star predictions video. I'll link it up. Whichever side it's on, I don't know. So, yeah, it was 5 stars. Loved it. 5 out of 5 freaking stars. Amazing. So, Renegades by Marissa Meyer is following Nova, Artino, and Adrian Everhart. 2 perspectives, whatever. And they're in this world where there are renegades and there are anarchists, and basically renegades are the superheroes, and they run, they're like the government. So they run the city, and the anarchists were formerly in power during this like revolution, but now they've been kicked to the curb, and now they're like criminals and villains. So yeah, Nova is an anarchist, and she has been tasked by the anarchists to infiltrate the renegades and be a spy, basically, to take down the renegades. And Adrian is a renegade, and he ends up being on the same, well, Nova ends up being put on Adrian's, like, kind of like squad, like the little team, the renegade team. And it basically follows Nova and Adrian in their whole shebang. One of my least favorite tropes ever is secret identities, because I hate them. They're so annoying to read. But I love this book. I hate the secret identities in it. There's secret identities in both Renegades and this book. And Supernova too, because it's in the same series. I hate secret identities. It's so frustrating for me to like watch characters like so oblivious to the fact that there's a secret identity. It's so annoying. But yeah, I got over it for this one, and I get over it for Renegades because I love it. But yeah, I just hate that trope. I don't know why I'm telling you about it. But I loved how the relationship between Adrian and Nova developed in this book, and like we kind of we touch on a lot of politics and the way like how can you determine what's good or evil? How can you determine who's a hero, who's a villain, and like what's a good sacrifice and what's okay if the person who's labeled good is doing something that's bad? Are they still good? That's sort of a good discussion. I thought that was amazing. I thought it was done so well. I was so impressed by Marissa Meyer. And like the whole time, like having this like whole kind of discussion brought up about good and bad and good versus evil was so good. Like made me think so much during this book. So I'm like, props to you, Marissa Meyer. I really believe that Marissa Meyer deserves more attention. Like you see Cassandra Clare and like Sarah J Maas always being hyped and whatever, and they're so popular. And I feel like Marissa Meyer is popular, but I feel like she's like under the radar in a way. I think she should have way more credit for how amazing her novels are. It's just like so good. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. I also hate slow burns, and this is a slow burn romance, and I'm just like, Marissa Meyer, you make me okay with reading things I hate. So yeah, I love this book. Hopefully I do a review on it. I want to, but I'm not sure if that's gonna happen because I'm just so busy. But like, read Renegades, and if you haven't read Archenemies, because I put this book off for so long, read Archenemies if you're putting it off. Read it. Love it. Have a great time. Next up, I read a graphic novel again, and that was Paper Girls by 4 people. What are their names? Brian K. Vaughan, Cliff Chang, Matt Wilson, and Jared K. Fletcher. This book, I've been waiting to pick up for a while, and I finally did. And I read this in about an hour, and I think I gave it 4 to 5 stars. Yeah. I really enjoyed this. I did not know it was going to deal with time travel, and that's something I also do not like. Time travel just gets messy, and I don't like reading about it. But I thought that it was dealt with alright in this book. Like, if time travel's not dealt with right and you just like have no idea what's going on, it's not fun. And there was like times when you didn't know what was going on, but it was okay. Like, it wasn't terrible. I really like the art style of this book. Oh, where's a good one? Like, I like the coloring. The coloring is very nice and distinct, and like it has a clear theme on each page when you're going through. Like, this is a purple section, this is kind of like a pinkyish page. You know, like, it's very nice. I really liked it. I like the characters a lot. It does not take place in like our modern times. It's like a few years back. I think in the like 1980s, something like that. So I mean, like, that was also an experience. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I did. it did let me down in just some aspects, just being like, I just hate time travel, oof. And then like some of the characters were a little bit dry, and like they changed characteristics super quickly. Like their personality in one scene was like, I'm a badass, I'm afraid of nothing. And then the next one they're like, what's going on? Like, I don't know, it just like they changed really quickly sometimes. But other than that, I enjoyed it. I would recommend. I do want to pick up volume 2 for both the graphic novels that I've shown in this one, but I don't know when I'm going to get to them. But yeah, enjoyable, you know, a 1 hour read that's just kind of like, pick it up, put it down, it's a good time. So yeah. The last book I read in April was Autobiography by Christina Lauren. I am so proud of my annotating for this book. Can you see that? Look at that. I was so proud of this. Like, also did a lot of writing in it. I don't know if you saw any of it there, but yeah. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. This was also my 5-star prediction video, and I was correct in my prediction. I love this book. It is a gay romance that deals with religious stuff, and yeah. I was looking, okay, I picked up this because I just read recently It Looks Like This, which is another gay thing with church stuff, and that one depressed me. So I was like, I want something that's light and fluffy, that's gonna not depress me as much. This one also depressed me, but in a different way. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. This book follows Tanner, and he was openly bisexual in his old state. I don't remember where he lives. I think it was California before. And he has just moved from California to Utah, which is a strongly Mormon place, and now he's been shoved right back into the closet, and he's dealing with that. And then he goes, and he's taking this class in school called the Seminar, where you have to write a novel in one semester, and the mentor of the class is Sebastian, and as soon as Tanner lays eyes on Sebastian, he falls madly in love with him. And it basically follows that, and the romance in this book is adorable. Like, it is an adorable romance. But then when you get to like the climactic point at which like things are going wrong, the discussion on like religious beliefs on homosexuality I thought was really good. Like, it like broke my heart every time Sebastian, who is a Mormon character who is dealing with being queer in the Mormon church, like every time we get to him like basically battling with himself and being himself, it just like hurt my heart, like broke my heart, because I love both the main characters in this book. Like, it was beautiful. They're both adorable, and I loved them so much, especially together. And then when you get to the end where it's like, you know in romances the relationship has to like fall apart for a bit, and that happened, and like it hurt a lot, but I loved it at the same time, because I'm like, this book broke my heart, but like put it back together and broke it again. Christina Lauren, which is 2 authors, fun fact, everyone knows at this point, are like really good romance authors, or like everyone thinks are really good romance authors, and this is the first book I've read of theirs, and I really, really enjoyed it. I thought the relationship was very healthy and like good. It's always nice when the relationships are not like, ooh, problematic. So that was great. And like, I loved, okay, it felt so satisfying at the end. It was very, very nice. I loved it. It was great. I thought this book was very well done. Like, I loved it so much. It was obviously a cute romance and whatever, but also had like substance, and I really appreciated that. Like, it's also beautiful. Like, look at that cover. So yeah, I'm really glad I read this. You know, a cute romance is always a good time. So yeah, it's a cute romance with a little bit of substance, some good stuff. So yeah, I really recommend this if you just want like a cute romance plus some queer. So yeah, Autobiography by Christina Lauren. Yay. I'm trying to pick these up and it's just not working out. So these are all of the books that I read in the month of April plus some March. This was like, in general, really good reading month for me, so like, go me. May is starting off okay, so yeah, that's all I'm going to tell you about May right now. So this has been my wrap up for April plus a little bit of March. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Bailey. Bye bye!